Welcome everybody. We're excited to see you here. We're just going to take a moment and let folks come into the room before we begin, but we're delighted that you could join us today on behalf of Folk Alliance International. I'd like to welcome you to this digital space. And while we're waiting for everyone to come in for this wonderful webinar entitled Building a Beautiful Website, which I'm very excited to not only facilitate digitally, but also attend personally. And thank you to Bandzoogle for sponsoring this webinar and putting it together. But as we gather in this digital space, let's take a moment to acknowledge that we're all joining from different places on the planet, different continents, different spaces, and that the people who live in these spaces, some of them have come there for a variety of reasons. Some of them have been there from time immemorial. I myself am joining you from the traditional territory that is continually stewarded by the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people in what is colonially known as Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the shores of beautiful Lake Chinibish in Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement territory, and also governed by the Between the Lakes Treaty of 1792. If you'd like to drop a land acknowledgement in the chat, once I'm finished talking, I'm happy to provide a tool there where you can look up where you're joining us from today. And we are delighted, that being said, to be joined by the illustrious Melanie from Bandzoogle, who is going to take over today to present this webinar. Welcome and thank you, Melanie.
Hello, I am going to share my screen. Here we go. Wonderful. I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Melanie Keeley. I am the Director of Communications at Bandzoogle, a website platform for musicians. And I'm really happy to be here today to speak to you all about building a beautiful website for your music. Websites can be a really valuable tool in showcasing your career online, preparing for a new release, sending out your EPK to different industry professionals. It's a lot to take on from the start. So hopefully some of these tips will just inspire you to either get started with your website or maybe give yours a modern update, a refresh, the content, the design, and so on. So we'll get started. I'm sharing my screen here. I can't see any questions, but if there are questions, I'm happy to answer. I may answer it throughout the presentation. So perhaps at the end, we can take some questions on if I haven't covered it. Always happy to hear from everyone. So just a quick little bit about Bandzoogle. We're a website and direct-to-fan platform for musicians. And musicians can easily build a website and sell their music using Bandzoogle. All sales are commission-free. We were founded in 2003, so we're quite old as far as tech companies go for websites. And we currently power more than 60,000 websites for musicians around the world. We include a lot of great features for musicians, and we've sort of built up this feature set throughout the years and added on to it as we see what musicians need. So every website account includes a free domain name. Web hosting is also included. Commission-free music and merch sales through a store, music players. We also have a gig calendar where you can add your shows, your live streams, that kind of thing. And you can sell tickets through your website directly as well. It's also commission-free to do that. We include a mailing list tool, plus a tip jar and crowdfunding options. We recently added fan subscriptions to our feature set, and even more recently, landing pages. When it comes to designing your website, we include over 100 just stunning. We have a great designer who creates these wonderful mobile-ready themes, which you can customize to suit your music. And there's a point-and-click editor under the hood, which you would use to customize your theme. It's really easy to use. We'll look at that a little bit more in a few minutes. Now, if you're building a website from scratch, we offer preset pages. So you can get started by thinking about the kind of pages you would want to add: homepage, music page, events, and so on. We also include preset page templates for different kinds of EPKs. So if you're just not really sure what to include, you can choose from different preset page options. Features will populate on the page for you, and you can just fill it in. So it guides you a little bit in terms of what to add on what page: a music player, add your bio, add an image here, and that sort of thing. You can also connect to different services, which you may already have existing, to quickly build out your website. So you could add your Bandcamp music quickly. It'll be a player on the page. You can connect to your SoundCloud account to upload songs quickly, for example, or YouTube videos, just to sort of help you build it out quickly. We also include fan data under the hood. So we have two options. One is built into Bandzoogle, and one is a little more robust, but it pulls from Google Analytics directly and just shows you the information that's relevant to a musician. So in this screenshot, you can see sessions, visitors, and page views, but we also include things like who's listening to your music, their location, whether they skipped your song or listened to it the whole way through. If you don't yet have a website, feel free to start one with Bandzoogle. We'd be happy to help you build it. And this promo code, Folk Alliance, will get you a 3-month free trial plus 15% off any paid plan once you upgrade. So just a little bit about why websites are important to musicians, to anyone, but musicians especially here. The first reason is that you own the address. That's your domain name, your .com or .ca. You're always guaranteed to own that part of the internet. So someone can type in your band name, .com, they're always going to be able to find you there. And from there, you own that experience. So depending on what your goal is as a musician, booking shows, getting fans to come to shows, you own that experience, you own the content. There's no distractions like there is on social media. There's no, funny videos or comments or things that are designed to distract. There's also no design limits. So you can really create an experience that's true to your own branding and your music on your own website. Plus, you own the data, so you can see where your fans are from, what site brought you there, and this can help inform you where you might want to book a tour, where your fans might be really supportive. You can also see if maybe you have a lot of fans coming over from Spotify or Instagram, and maybe you want to put a little budget into marketing in those areas. Plus, with your own website, you earn more money because you're selling directly to your fans, commission free, and you can let them know that this is a good way to support you. So when you're building out your website, you want to keep these different audiences in mind throughout all of your content and your pages. You want to include something for everyone. So the 3 audiences are your potential fans, your current fans, plus industry and the media. To talk a bit more about potential fans, these are the ones who don't know you already, so you want to tell them your story. You can do this with a bit of text, plus by putting your best song or recent video up front. You want to get them on your mailing list. That way you can nurture the connection with them, make sure that they know everything that's coming up. In order to get them on your mailing list, a free sample, a free offer, a discount code to your store, some music, and exclusive content, for example, is a great way to jumpstart that, get them on your mailing list, and then keep in touch from there. Now, with your current fans, you want to let them know what's new, which you can do by adding new content regularly. Could be blog posts, news items, new photos. If you're adding limited edition products, package deals, maybe you're crowdfunding, launching fan subscriptions, these are things that you want to make sure your current fans are informed about. And there's a multitude of ways to do this, which we'll look at a little bit more when we look at how to design a website. You want to make sure that you get your current fans on your mailing list as well. So offering free music or possibly some exclusive content, just to make sure that you can keep in touch with your current fans as well. These are the ones who are really going to support you. Now, for industry and the media, you also want to make sure your homepage in particular is up to date, shows that there's some momentum in your career, that you're active. So you can include some news, a new video, something that's relevant and current. You can also talk about what makes you unique or different. Industry and the media as well, you can sort of think as potential fans because they won't necessarily know who you are. So make sure that you provide a bit of information about who you are. You can also do this by adding your best song, your best video, a little something just to show who you are. And we also always recommend including a press kit on your website, specifically for industry and media. All right, so getting started with a music website. You know you need to have one. Design is tricky, but the very first thing you need to do is gather up content, which I find is a bit of a stumbling block to a lot of musicians. You don't really know what you need to get started, or you don't have great photos yet. It's a pain to write out text, but we'll run through everything to give you an idea of what you'll want to gather up before you get started. Or if you do have a website, and it needs a refresh, you can still run through this sort of checklist of things and just update things that you don't have maybe yet or that need refreshing. So a great main image. It should be current if possible, just to make sure that it reflects your current sound, who you are. Professional photos you'll use throughout your website on many pages. It's worth investing in a good photo shoot with a great photographer. Get a bunch of professional photos, which you can use across social media and your website. You'll need your music, good music, recent music, depending on what you're promoting. Video is always helpful. People love watching videos, and you can curate the videos that appear on your website. So you can make a list of maybe 4 videos that you think represent you well, and some text. So some news is great, and a good bio is very helpful in getting started. So your main image. This image, depending on the template you choose, you'll want an image that conveys your sound and works with your branding. Imagine somebody, your potential fans, coming to your website for the first time. Think to yourself that this image is going to tell your story, and it might be the thing that further entices somebody to press play and listen to your music. So you want to make sure that the image is really on brand. It really shows who you are. You also want to choose an image that pulls focus to the center. And what I mean by that is one that will scale nicely to different devices. So some space around the edges is a good idea. It can be a little tricky if you're a full band, but you can adjust your mobile view. You just want to make sure that the eye is drawn to the center with your main image. So professional photos. Always use professional photos. In this day and age, it's really easy to get decent photos, from an iPhone or a mobile device. I suggest, if you can do it, investing in professional photos from a photographer. You'll use them a lot. It's worth the investment for your header images, background, section backgrounds, and promotional photos in your EPK. Photos are, as I said, largely a way to convince somebody to listen to your music or explore your content or decide if they want to become a fan or not. They can really create a positive or negative impression of who you are right away. Music, of course. I always include this when I talk about websites because I still see a lot of musician websites where they don't have music, and maybe it's not ready yet. But I personally love to listen to music when I go to a website, and especially if you're promoting something, make sure you add it. You can do MP3s, you can do WAV files. It depends on your goal, but you'll use music in many places on your website. A home page, if you create a smart links page, you'll have it there, a music page, and also in your EPK. Video, like I said, people love watching videos. It's another great way to tell your story. Live video, if you're trying to book shows, if you have, professionally done music video, It's great to include that right on your homepage, hook in those potential fans. A video page is awesome if you have many videos. And again, live video is great in an EPK. Text. Now, again, text is the one thing that I find loads of musicians overthink. Just if you're getting started, write out some text, have a friend read it over, get your bandmate to vet it for you just to see, you know, is this truly who I am? Does it talk about me? A little bit of news if you're stuck, information about your music, a long and short bio you'll want to have. And these things will be used throughout your website. So it's worth taking a little bit of time and creating some text that really reflects you and your current goal as a musician. So once you have your photos, videos, text, etc., you'll want to choose a website template. When we talk about templates, really nowadays, it's not this cookie cutter look. Templates are wide open. The things that developers can do with code, you know, if you add your fonts and your photos, just think of it as a framework. And then you can fully customize it. It's very flexible nowadays to create a website from a template. And you can customize the design to suit your sound perfectly with tweaks here and there. Okay, mobile websites, yes. So all of our website templates are mobile friendly. And this is another good reason to choose a template instead of necessarily getting someone to code a website for you. Templates are mobile ready. They'll scale to all devices. And as you likely know, people consume media now on mobile, tablets and phones, probably more than they do on computers. So for that reason, your website has to work really well on mobile. You want to take a look and make sure your content is easy to scroll and find. Plus your e-commerce options have to work. The checkout must work perfectly on mobile. And in fact, Google also ranks mobile-friendly pages higher in the search results. So for that reason alone, you want to make sure that your website is compatible with all of the mobile-friendly options that are offered across the internet now. So back to templates, again, it'll adapt to mobile, which is a great reason alone to use a template and customize it. You don't need to know any code. When you want to make an update to your website, you simply upload photos or type in text. You don't have to fiddle around with code. You can also easily and fully customize a website template, and you can also change it up regularly. So, you know, if you're with a band and you move to a new project, or maybe your career has evolved a bit and you're doing a new album that sounds a bit different, you can redo your template without having to redo all of your text and photos unless you want to. And you can tweak things just to get them right. When you are going to choose a template, again, it can seem a little overwhelming because there's so many choices, but you can switch it up and see what works for you. So the first thing you want to think about is your main image. If you have a showstopper of a main image that, you know, fully shows who you are, maybe you want to choose a template with a large header area. If you don't really have a great image yet, you can choose a template that has a large logo at the top, and then your menu. The menu will depend also on how much content you'll add, how many pages you'll need. So if you're a solo songwriter, perhaps your menu will be a little bit smaller. And then maybe you want to choose a side menu because it's kind of interesting looking. The amount of content that you add will also come into play. If your pages are going to be long and with a lot of scrolling, you want to choose a really clean, easy to read template. And the kind of music you play, of course, will play into the color choices. And you want to think about what your current branding is like. So whatever you have presently on social media or wherever else you're active, think of how that might translate to a website. So after you've chosen your template, the fun part, you've added your content, and you can customize the design. So our templates were chosen, or they were created by our designers, and they've chosen color palettes. So you're more than welcome to stick to those. A lot of them are very modern, but you can also change it up. A lot of artists that I see will upload a main image, look at the main colors in that image, and then use those colors throughout their content and throughout the rest of your website. So as a general rule of thumb, we always recommend sticking to 3 major colors. Your primary color is your brand color, your contrasting secondary color, and then a 3rd accent color. So your secondary color, you want to make sure is easy to read. And then the accent color could be something like your play button, your mailing list sign up form button. It should go with everything else, but it should stand out enough that somebody will want to click that play button. Typography. Once you're creating your design, I always suggest choosing simple fonts to start. If you want to do a fancy logo, you could choose a really interesting font for your headers. But in terms of content, simple font is best, and you want high contrast between the font color and your background. There are a lot of nice websites are using sections now, so the sections may appear in different colors. You probably want to keep your font color consistent. Black or white is a good choice generally, but you can switch it up too, just depending on your section background colors. Use left aligned text generally for all of your content. This is what people are used to reading, and it's easy for them to take in quickly. And we recommend using kind of simple fonts, bold, italic, caps. You can save those for headers, headings, section headings, blog post titles and things like that. But for content text, you want to keep it really simple. So the next thing we can think about is navigation, which is your website menu. We usually recommend limiting your main menu buttons to 8 or fewer. This just makes things easy for your fans. They can locate what they're looking for quickly. If you do have a lot of content, drop-down pages are always an option. So perhaps you want to create a page for all of your back catalog. You could have a music page or an albums page, and then each album could drop down underneath. But your main menu buttons, 8 or fewer, is good to start. And each page should have a clear purpose. There's a few reasons for this. One is simply that it's easy to find. So if somebody goes to your website, they're looking to listen or learn more about your music, they click on music. This also helps, and this plays into point 3, that you want to keep the page names simple with Google. So if somebody, finds out about you on Spotify or hears your music somewhere and they type it in plus music, they're more likely to find your page if it's called music than if it's called, listen or hear now or something like that. So keep things simple. Or if somebody's Googling to find your bio, you want to call it bio or about. It helps for both reasons. So with that said, here are the 8 pages that we often recommend you start with. Again, you can build it out further depending on your needs, but these are sort of a good baseline if you're getting started. So a home page, an about page, you want to include a music page, a shows page, a photos page or videos page, a store, plus a press kit and a dedicated contact page. Here's what you want to include on your homepage: that great header image, the one that really tells your story and shows who you are. A short bio. I always recommend including a short bio on the homepage for a few reasons. Again, it helps with Google. Google will then understand a bit better what your website's about with a bio with some text on your homepage. It also helps those potential fans to make sure they're in the right place, and industry folk as well. It helps them to know that they've landed on the website which they've intended to visit. Music and a video, either or, depending on what you have that's best at the time you want to include on your homepage. Some news is always a great idea. Again, for your current fans, if they come back and they want to see what you're up to. And when I say news, it could easily include come to my next show, It doesn't have to be, press in an external publication. It can just be something that you're happy to share, and social media links on your homepage as well. Something that we also like to see on a homepage, not necessary, but quite helpful, is a call to action. That's a little text and a button which directs your website visitors to perform a specific action. So this could be to join your mailing list, to listen to a new album. Maybe it's to make a purchase, watch a video, or contribute to a crowdfunding campaign. Here's a quick example of a call to action. This band is building their mailing list. So you can see who they are. You can see that they're building their mailing list, and it's easy to sign up directly from their homepage. Here's another homepage. They don't have a call to action, but they do have their video up front. So it sort of entices people to click and listen right away. And then if you were to scroll, you could see their tour dates and more information about them. Next is an about page. An about page is a really important page that, again, a lot of artists seem to struggle with. Part of it is keeping it up to date. But if you're getting started with an about page, just write out your full bio. A short bio is great here as well. If you'd like, you can lead with a short bio and then have the full bio underneath, with the idea that someone may come to your about page and copy and paste that first little paragraph. So it's almost like a slightly longer elevator pitch, and then your full bio can follow. Photos on an about page are great to show either your progression as an artist or just what you're up to now. Some visuals are always really nice. And if you are struggling to create a bio or an about page, I have a few tips for you, which, using a quote, could be from a publication or a fan perhaps. Talk about your background. This is the page where you want to show off your education, your achievements. You can write as much as you'd like about yourself here. This is the place to do it. And fans do find it interesting. Your current fans will come here, and this is where they'll see your backstory. Here's a nice about page with a quick bio. It's very informative, and it has an image that really displays their style. A music page. Again, I visit lots of music websites, and if I don't see a music page, I'm always disappointed, because I love to, explore and hear new artists and what they're up to now. So I really encourage you to create a dedicated music page instead of just putting one song on your homepage, for example. You can include song samples, full discography if you'd like, your current album. You can offer it for sale or just for listening. Within the Bandzoogle music players, you can also offer a track in exchange for an email address. So we see some artists doing this, especially with older albums or music or exclusive MP3s that they can use if they're trying to build their mailing list. And another thing, again, I really like to see on a music website is context. It's one thing to add all your music, but if you're trying to, create this relationship with fans, really explain to potential fans who you are, then context about your music is really important. You can also include links to your streaming services on this page, giving people different options to consume your music if you do that. And if you don't yet have music, if you're just getting started, a video is fine. Again, add some context, maybe you're recording some demos, talk about that on the page here, and people will find it interesting. Quick music page example. I like the clearly laid out albums here, the listen button. And if you're to scroll down, there's a bit more information about it. Plus the social media icons, Spotify, etc., are very easy to see. And there's a nice image in the background, so it kind of gives it a modern look and feel. Shows page, as we're getting back to live events, a shows page which includes all of your live shows, potentially live streams if you're still live streaming, can be on this page. It's a great place to send people if you are trying to promote your shows. You can also include multiple calendars if you'd like. So you could have a calendar of local shows and a tour calendar on the same page. Just add some text content to be sure that people are looking in the right spot. And you can sell tickets directly to your shows if you'd like on your show's page. And you can include posters, imagery, photos, videos of you performing live. While you might have an EPK, people who want to book you might also visit your show's page, especially if they want to see you before they book you. So other context that you can provide, which would help with that experience, such as a live video, is helpful on this page. Just to make sure that you check back on it regularly. So it's not a video from, 5 years ago. Shows page example, nice video, nicely laid out events, easy to read, high contrast font. It's just a really good way to get people to support you by coming out to see live music. A photos page. A photos page is handy for your current fans, your potential fans, and for industry as well. People use photos for a variety of reasons. It might just be to, check out a show that you played or see what you're up to. But you can also include promotional photos on this page, downloadable versions, performance photos, candid photos are great for your current fans to check out. And you can combine this with a videos page. Or you can just have a photos page with multiple galleries. It really depends on how many photos you have. I do recommend setting them into different sections with clear headings if you have lots of photos, or a section at the top for photos and then underneath it for videos if you decide to do that. This is a photos page example with a nice sort of modern tiled layout. If you choose to use a Bandzoogle photos page with a gallery, you can add photos and then change the layout to see what works. There's this tiled version, there's a grid version. You can also add image features as well for standalone photos. And videos. Again, if you want to do a standalone videos page, you absolutely can. It just depends how much content you have. Embedding your videos is quick and easy, and they can be streamed directly on your website. I also like to see context on a videos page, just some information about the video. It helps for Google. It also helps for your fans. And you can rotate videos out regularly. I've been asked before how many videos is good for a videos page, and there's no hard and fast rule, but probably 6, and then rotate those out. You just want to keep in mind that some people might be viewing from mobile and you don't want the page to load too slowly. So instead of adding, 20 videos, maybe pick your top few. You can feature one at the top if you're trying to get more views, and then stagger the rest and change them out. Quick videos page example, music videos, easy to watch, stream on the page, really clear against the background. Store page. If you're just starting out with the website, you may not have a store page right away. But if you are selling merch, it's a really great way to let your fans support you, especially around this time of year. Fans are really interested in buying locally for the holidays, and a merch page, a store page with your merch is a great way to do that. So in order to show your merch, you want to give a full description. You want to explain exactly what they're going to get. Images are helpful. You can also offer discount codes or put items on sale if you'd like to clear out stock. Bandzoogle is integrated as well with Printful. So you can sell print on demand items from your store directly. And it's a seamless integration. So you could have a store that includes vinyl, CDs, Printful items like hoodies and shirts, and everything appears on the page together. You can also sell file downloads, which particularly recently we've seen artists have some success selling lyric books or sheet music or sample packs, which is a nice little sort of passive income stream for many artists. Those are especially nice for your big fans that maybe have purchased your t-shirts already, something a little different. store page example in a grid layout, so it's easy to see. If you were to click, it would have more information. But here you can see sort of a variety of options from CDs to tank tops and bundles as well. So the last page in your menu is the contact page. I always suggest having a dedicated contact page. And the reason for that is if somebody goes to your website, especially to contact you, it's easy to see. It's directly in the menu. It's not hidden somewhere on a page. So they land on your website, they scan everything, they see contact, they can contact you. You can customize this page, of course, depending on whether you're trying to book shows or if you put a call out for something. An email form is great. Again, you can customize the fields to ask, if there's a budget for a certain event or a date that someone trying to book you had in mind. A mailing list sign-up form on your contact page. I always suggest including that because it's sort of your last chance to build your mailing list. It's another way to get people on there. And your social media links, which is really another way to help people stay in touch with you. So it's a nice add on your contact page. Press kit. Again, I always suggest creating a press kit, and generally speaking, it should be in your website's menu as well. You can hide it from the menu if you are trying to send it out to specific venues or festivals and you don't necessarily want your fans to see it. But it's a nice way to include content on your website, which industry can use. A press kit is essentially a digital version now of what bands used to package up in an envelope and mail out to apply to festivals. But it's a really nice way for a venue or a promoter to grab an image once you're booked, or for somebody who's trying to book you to see what they would be getting. A press kit can serve as an online resume for your career to date. This is the place where you want industry to be able to take in everything about you, career highlights, music, at a glance on one page. You want your EPK to include details which will help you promote your tour, your album, whatever it is that your current goal is. You want your EPK to help you achieve that. It makes it easy for industry to learn all about you, again, quickly at a glance. And you want to make sure that your EPK contains up-to-date media. And these are the things that you specifically want to include in your EPK. Your band bio should be somewhere quite prominent on the page. You should include promotional images, a variety of sizes, just to be sure that there's something for social media or a poster, or a different way that someone might promote you on their own website. Include music. This could be a new single, a new album, or your best tracks if you're just trying to create an EPK for, general purposes. A video is great on an EPK, and you can create a video in a small column beside your music if they sort of go together. Your social media and streaming links are also helpful to have on this page, plus press reviews or career achievements if you don't have much press yet. Contact information directly on this page as well. In case somebody comes to this page, they want to book you, include it right there and then, so it's easy to do. Once you've added all your content to your EPK, you want to make sure that it works with the rest of your website, with your social media. You want it to be an extension of the rest of your branding. It should always reflect what you're doing currently, new music, your current look, and it should give a proper sense of who you are right now as an artist. It can be tricky to create an organized EPK, especially because you may have a lot of content that you want to include. So pare down your bio, more like an elevator pitch. Make sure you use sections and heading titles, which will set off your content so it's easy to see. And again, you can place assets into columns. So perhaps music in a large left column, a video in the right column. And you want to make sure that there's breathing room around your content. So don't cram everything up together. Even if someone is scrolling on your page a little bit, it's still easier to take in if there's some space. Here's a nice press kit example with some different text, a heading title, press photos. The classic black on white combo makes it very easy to read. And this press kit example as well, I like to point to because the images are wonderful, but also you can include downloadable files on your press kit. This is the page to do them. Absolutely include your bio and text, but if you want to include a longer bio, you can do that as a downloadable file. Quotes, your rider, if you have a tour poster, all of that can be included as downloadable files. It's not necessary, but especially if you are booking a lot of shows or promoting a tour, it's nice to have more content than not enough content. So I'm starting to wind down after all that information. If it's been a lot to take in, we do have this resource, how to make a music website. If you Google how to make a music website, Bandzoogle, it will come up and it just sort of walks you through everything we talked about in more detail. You can use it as a bit of a guide or a checklist to make sure that you're, including all the content that you need. We also have a guide on creating an EPK for your music, which is really important. Perhaps if you're not ready to build a full website yet and you want to get started with an EPK, it has a little bit more information about how to do that. So same thing, if you Google it, EPK Bandzoogle, this will come up. And there's some examples included there with great imagery, nice layouts that you can sort of look to for inspiration if you'd like. So that's about it for me. I don't know if there's any questions, but if you would like to create a website, here's the promo code, Folk Alliance. This gives you a 3-month free trial plus 15% off any paid plan.
Hey, Melanie, there's been
Hey.
so many questions.
Okay, let's
So
do it.
I think, would you like me to just ask them from beginning to now, or would you like to take a peek at them? They're in the
Sure.
chat.
Sure. Do you want to ask?
Sure, here I go. I'm going all the way back. There's been so many.
Well,
Um,
that's wonderful.
should you only build a website around the most recent record or single?
Well, I think it depends on how your career has been going. So if everything you've done is not relevant, I wouldn't. You can absolutely focus your website on your new single or your new album. And there's a lot of different ways to promote the album specifically. If that's your goal, I'm promoting a new album, then almost everything on your website can be curated around that. So your call to action can be, pre-save my new album or pre-order my new album, listen to my new album. You can include content on your homepage like a bio, but it can also mention what you've been doing recently, which is this new album. I like the idea of creating imagery around a new album and using that throughout your website and social media. So that's one thing to consider as well. I hope that helps. It's
Great.
not yes or no answer. Absolutely, it's good to focus your goals. Maybe on an about page, you want to go into a little bit more detail, but I think it is a really good way to get started.
Next question, Megan asks, I'd like to update my Bandzoogle site to a new theme, but I'm afraid it's going to take me a minute to redesign. Is it possible to work on a new version while the old version is still live and available? And if I try a new theme and don't like it, can I switch back?
Yes, so your previous themes are all saved. I forget the name of the label. I think it's My Themes in the theme tab. But you can go back to switch it. Sorry, someone just dropped something off at my door. I'm waving to them out the window. And you can absolutely also put your website into maintenance mode, which is a nice thing to do. The only thing is it doesn't make a full copy of your website. So if you're fully redoing the text, you may want to do a new page or copy and paste the text once you know it's in place. What most artists do is add their new photos, do the new theme, redo the layout, and then pop in the text fairly quickly. But yes, if you don't like it, you can go back to your old theme. You just might have to redo the layout if things have changed a lot. It really depends on what the new look is like, I guess, and how much you've changed. I find like the columns and the layout really gives it a new sort of look and feel, more so than the theme, unless you've gone from no image to large image. In which case you would have to re-add your image, but it's pretty quick to do. And I didn't mention our support team, but we have an excellent live chat support team. They also answer by email. And if you're feeling nervous about redoing your website, absolutely hop on with them, ask them for advice. What should I do first? They'll walk you through it. They're really great.
Okay, awesome. Great answer. Next question. How do you increase your website's visibility in searches or search engine optimization? Is this something that Bandzoogle can help with?
Yes. So all of our pages are optimized under the hood for things like music and events to pop up in Google. Um, I would say make sure you fill out as much information as possible. We also have spots in the page settings to add a meta description, page title. It can be customized and changed at any time. It does take a little bit of time for your website to update in Google once you've made changes. Another tip, which is true of any website provider, is to get external links. So if you're playing at a music venue, ask them to link to your website. Make sure your social profiles are linking to your website. I'm saying all this, we actually have a marketing expert on our team. And throughout the last year, he's written a series of blog posts on SEO specifically. So we have a little SEO checklist, which is, bare basics. And then we have these lengthy blog posts, which go into detail about really taking your Google search, your SEO to the next level. So I'd encourage you to check that out. Same thing, good old Google, or go to bandzoogle.com/blog. And check out that series. It's been throughout this past year. It's all been updated. But there is code and things behind the scenes, which will help your website work well in Google.
Great. Here's another question. Can I link two separate complementary sites together?
Um, it depends on the content and how it looks. Each website may have its own .com address. If you're looking to manage them under one account, you can do that. You can switch back and forth. If you're creating two full websites, you'll want to pay for two separate plans, but you can get a discount on the second one. I think hopefully that answers it. Like, can you manage them from one place? If you're talking more about linking the content on your homepage, you can absolutely put a link to whatever you'd like. Yeah, for sure.
Here's another question. Can Bandzoogle toggle between different languages?
We have a language toggle, but I believe it's just for the setup. So if you want all of your text, your sort of default text, like the mailing list sign up form, don't quote me on this, but I think we have French, Spanish, and German. We don't have the toggle that allows somebody to flick a switch and translate your entire website. That would be a nice feature add. We do have a lot of examples of bilingual websites. And so if that's something you're looking to do, feel free to ask the support team, but you'll often see perhaps a menu that says English, French, and then the pages will drop down. But it'll be a mirror copy of each page in each language, as opposed to toggling and, transforming the text.
Right, right. Great answer. Here's another one. Will Bandzoogle websites work with older computers like Windows 7?
Yes, they should. Yes, they should. We do a lot of rigorous testing. Once things get too depreciated, certain functionality may not work, but that would be true of all websites.
Great. Is there, I have a comment. I have two Bandzoogle sites ported over from the old platform and I'm very happy with their ease and functionality. Thank you, Bandzoogle, for this webinar. It's nice to hear that. Thank you everyone for attending. Melanie, this has been great. There's a few questions here which I think you actually already answered
Okay.
the in the webinar
Yep.
itself.
Mhm.
Including where to put high-res pictures, which is in your EPK. And just to reassure everyone, in case you haven't been following along in the chat, we are recording this, we're going to caption this, and then we're going to post it on our YouTube channel.
Wonderful.
But this has been a really exciting and very well-attended webinar. We're thrilled that you were able to make it today. I'm going to share a thank you. Look, thank you. Um, Thank you so much to Melanie today. We really appreciate your time, and we will see everyone down the road. This has been How to Build a Beautiful Website by
Thank you so much.
Bandzoogle. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone.